Well, welcome to the exclusive. I'm your host, Sharon Tharp. I'm very excited today because I'm joined by a very lovely guest. It's America's favorite player from season 16, Donny. I'm so excited. Donny Thompson's here. Hi,
Hey
Donny.
there. Hey, how you doing?
I'm good. Thank you for doing this.
You're welcome. Yeah, absolutely. I enjoyed
Um,
watching Devin's interview so much. It made me
oh my
excited to do
God.
this. Yeah,
Well, I'm happy that you watched it because I think, if I recall, he brought you up and I was like, oh, I hope Donny watches this.
yeah. I
Yeah.
did. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
It
Well,
explained
I'm
a
glad
lot.
you. It did, right? Like he was great. I thought he opened up and it was really fun interview. But Donnie, like 11 years, I think, from your season. Give us the life update. What's been going on with Donnie? Are you still a
Okay.
groundskeeper? Are you still in North
Okay.
Carolina?
All right. All right. I was afraid on the season that I would not get my job back as a groundskeeper. And even after 5 million votes, I did not get my job back. So they actually done me a favor. It was with the state of North Carolina. So I got another job with
Mm,
the state of North Carolina at a college in my hometown, it's Stanley Community College. Worked there for 7 years. Um, went to human resources just to see when I could retire way down the road. They said with the state of North Carolina, you only need to be 50 years old and have 20 years. I said,
oh,
I'll see ya. So I am retired.
I
And
am so
I
jealous.
had a couple part-time jobs since then, but I went on a diet at the beginning of the year, lost a lot of weight, got back in
Good for
shape,
you.
quit my part-time jobs. I helped my mama. She's 84, and I helped my brother Tommy, uh, and they helped me a lot. I'm at my brother's house right now. It's a pretty
And
house.
he helped us set up the
And
audio.
he helped
So
us.
thank you,
Yeah,
Tommy.
he's got the brains. Yeah, yeah. So I didn't get my job back. Uh, the girlfriend I had at the time, yeah, it didn't last. You know,
It
you get caught
happens.
up in this thing. You watch these people on live feeds, and of course, I said wonderful things about her because she had a lot of wonderful qualities. So she brought a wedding dress to the finale. She was my plus one. So she brought a wedding dress to the finale and was going to get married in Las Vegas. And I know people has probably told you about what it does to our brains to be on the
Yeah.
show. My brain was all messed up, and so when she told me that, whew, that really messed me up even more. So I had to go back in Big Brother mode to get out of it. So I pulled the whole. My sister's been married 4 times. I've never been married. Don't you think my poor old parents would want to see their baby get married? So that bought me some time to get back to North Carolina, and then I just waited it
Wow.
out. And so she said, "We'll get married, or you'll buy me a house." And that kind of worked out good too because she found a house. We went to the bank. I wrote it out. They said, "Where do you work?" I said, "I'm unemployed." And so, you know, she just kind of dissolved out. So that, and yeah, I've been watching
Things
reality
work
TV
out as
shows.
they should, Donnie. I feel like they,
Absolutely. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. It worked out just perfect. Yeah,
damn,
everything's been
okay.
good. I still watch a lot of TV. I've picked up a lot of reality shows. I got addicted to Bravo, so some Housewives, Below
Yes.
Deck. I watch a lot of
I
TV.
love Below Deck. It's one of my
I just,
faves.
yeah, yeah,
It's addicting.
it is.
Uh, Still watching Big Brother?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, yeah. I'm not going to lie. I've been a fan since day one. I've watched every season. I never watched live feeds before my show, but I have tried it since. Boringest mess I ever seen in my life.
It's
I can
tough.
see, I can see how people would do it. Like I was watching somebody eat spaghetti one time, and I had to go to the bathroom, and I was like, "Well, I'll wait." And I'm thinking, "This is so stupid." I am watching somebody eat spaghetti, and I'm not going to the bathroom. So I really don't watch live feed, but I follow some people on Twitter. I've got a browser with jokers on there, so I know what's going on at any given time. I went to church this morning. This one lady says, "Who do you think will win head of household?" I said, "You don't know." So I told her,
Oh, okay. She was okay with the spoilers. Some people are
"Yeah." I
weird
asked
about
her if I
that.
could tell. Yeah, yeah. It's kind of exciting for what few people like that go to church and watch it. I can't even imagine saying you go to church with like Rachel Riley. So for them, they go to church with Donny Thompson. So they figure I have some kind of inside scoop, but it's just what most fans know all this stuff as it happens.
Yeah.
Even before I was on Big Brother, I always knew like what was going on, even because we go to Jokers and stuff.
Yeah, Jokers. Yeah. I do the same. Sometimes the feeds are boring. I get it. I don't have time to sit there and watch like people eating cereal all the time either. So
there's too much good TV, too much below deck and stuff like that.
There's a lot of good TV. But yeah, Donny, I was gonna ask about that in terms of like fan interactions. Obviously, you're someone that looks pretty much the same as you did back then. So does that still happen? I mean, you're in North Carolina. I'm assuming most people in your world know that you were on Big Brother.
Yeah. I am a small town. Of course, right after the season, like when my girlfriend came out there, she was going to get married in Las Vegas. So in Los Angeles, if we walked around, there's so much no one recognizes. But as soon as we got to Las Vegas, you got the blue collar people, it was so weird to be walking and somebody say, "Hey, Donny," and you turn for the first time in 42 years, and it's a stranger, and it was weird. It was really weird, and it was just constantly. And then you get back home, and what few people, they'll talk to you about it, and then every year they want you. Can you come over and watch an episode of Big Brother with me? So I got that for so many and still do. But then I have to explain, so many people want me to do this. And don't you think I want to sit at home and watch my favorite show by myself so I can get something out of it? So, and people still want stuff all the time. Well, Donny, can you do this? Can you do that? Can you come to my kids' I do all I can, but I still have to cull back a little bit because it's a lot.
No, yeah, you still have to live your life.
And just the other day, this lady came up to me and she says, "Donny, I got a picture with you 3 years ago." And she said, "Do you remember?" I'm like, "Of course not."
Yeah.
But she showed me. She said, "See?" I said, that ain't me. But
I don't remember what happened last week.
Of course. So I do get recognized, but not as often. And like if I'm in a convenience store, there's so many people where I'm from that look like me. Where's the cap? Has the beard. So that gets diluted. But then let me open my mouth and they'll say, "Yep, that's you from Big Brother." Yeah.
I love it. I'm curious, Donny, getting into Big Brother. Like, I know you were a big fan. I don't know if I know your casting story. You applied or?
I did.
Yeah,
that girlfriend, she watched 2 seasons with me. And at the end, when Julie Chen says, she looks at the camera and says, "America, take out your video cameras and send in." So the girlfriend said, "Let's send in a video." And I didn't have a big beard. Since I worked outside, I had a little goatee in the summer, and I would grow like a 1/2-inch beard to block the wind off of me in the winter. So it was in November, and she said, "Let's make a video." So I thought, well, I'm going to sit on the toilet and do it, because I said they're going to get thousands of videos. So especially like if they're real pretty or have a stereotype, but if they just see a plain guy in his 40s, they're not going to pay attention. But if they see, is he sitting on the toilet? Hey, look at this guy sitting on the toilet. It might get some attention. So I guess it did. Yeah. So that was in November. She made the video. She kind of broke up with me right after that. She was from Ohio and she didn't like long beards. So I let it grow all winter. And then it was like March, I had on my phone, it said Northern Los Angeles. And I thought it was like a telemarketer because I had forgot all about it. So I like to do the accent even worse when telemarketing. So I said, "Hello." And they said, "We're from Big Brother." I was like, And then I was like, wait a minute, maybe it is. So I had to tell him, I don't look like I did in the video. I've got a long beard. And so it was with Jesse. And he said, "Don't shave the beard. I want them to look at you. Can we fly you out?" They flew us out. And this is a good story.
Yeah.
There was 2 weeks of casting. There was, I was with the first week, and then I process elimination, I can tell you who's in the second week. But the first week, listen to this, I seen 5 of us. We couldn't talk or nothing, but we could see each other in the hotel. And then at the very end, when we had the final interview, we were all in like this, looked like an airplane hangar, but we was at our own tables. It was me, America's favorite house guest, Frankie, Ariana Grande's brother, Victoria, 3rd place, Cody, 2nd place, and Derrick, the winner.
No way.
All
really?
5. And Austin from season 17.
Oh, okay. Was he an alternate maybe? Or he was just
No,
casting?
he was cast. Hayden was the alternate.
You're right. I do remember that.
Yeah.
Wow. It's so weird.
So what if Big Austin was on the same season as Devin? Would that not be a dynamic?
Yeah, that would have been. Would he have been part of the bomb squad? I don't know.
Well, everybody else was.
Everybody else was. Interesting. Okay. I read on your, is this true? On your BB Wiki, it says you were never on a plane before the show. Is that true?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. When they flew me for the casting, that was the first time. And so Robin Cass I was like, what do I talk to these people about? So we had 3 different interviews, and I guess they were calling people out. She said, I had told her the story about the airplane. And she said, tell them about the airplane, right? This old lady, I was scared to death. This old lady said, hold my hand and we'll close our eyes when it takes off. And so we started doing that. And so I looked out the window and I was like looking at that line, and I was like, then I looked at the old lady, I was like, you're missing this. This is the best part. So I actually liked flying.
Yeah, me too.
I've been on like 68 flights. So it's
wow.
fun.
Okay. All right. Yeah, so obviously you were a fan of the show, you get cast. Did you have like this grand strategy in your brain, or you're like, let me just get in there and see what's what and figure it out?
No strategy whatsoever. I just knew how it goes. I just know that you're going to have over half your house is going to be in the low to mid 20s. You're going to have an older person. Looked around. I am the older person. I figured I would be. I figured I would be the first target because back then, your first target wasn't game related because we had 2 weeks before like an eviction. So it was more like, who don't you don't shake the waters. You just use an excuse. We haven't talked as much. I didn't have nothing to say. I'd never been to college. I didn't listen to that type of, if they didn't listen to Bon Jovi, I don't know what they listened to. So, so I figured.
They were young. Your cast was young.
They were real, Hayden had just turned 21. Nicole was 21 or 22. Victoria was 21 or 22. They were really young.
Yeah.
Jocasta was 34. She was the next oldest.
When I think about you and Jocasta being the oldest people, and I'm pushing 40 myself, I'm like, what? This is old?
Yeah. But I will tell you, and a lot of people will talk crap about season 16, but those people that like that gameplay and all this strategy and crap, it was steamrolled. But if you look at it for entertainment and characters, we had some great characters. Every one of them was memorable. You think about season 23, season 24. Can I name everybody in the house? Absolutely not. But I bet a lot of people can name most people that was in our house because they were bold characters.
Yep, I agree with that. I defend season 16 all the time because I just remember watching in real time and how fun it was. And yes, maybe it's boring on a rewatch because it's steamroll. I don't know, but the amount of characters in that house was some of the best casting.
Even the first boot, Joy with the blue hair, she was the first person to be a Team America. And
oh my God, I forgot.
And she dressed up like that guy Alex, and she throwed the weights and. That was
ridiculous,
good TV.
But hilarious.
The first evicted person, and then Pow Pow was the second. Every character was pretty doggone good.
Yeah, I'm actually. I reached out to Pow Pow. I'm like, Pow Pow, come on the podcast. Where you been?
Yeah, I had talked to her like a couple years after. Seemed like she got into bodybuilding or something. I think she maybe got married, had some kids, but I hadn't. I have texted with Hayden. Hayden did get married recently.
Yes,
I've texted him, and the person that I have seen the most is Christine.
Oh, really?
At charity
where's she living?
She lives in Arizona. I hadn't heard from her in years, but like right after the show, we all done like charity events, and I've seen her like 3 times, and that was more than anybody else.
I've actually been texting her too. I'm like, Christine, come on, because she's on TikTok. On these videos and saying some,
she would be a good one. I would love to know like her story behind this, like with Devon's, I would like to know her mindset and stuff because
she also got a rough edit and Yeah.
She did, but it was like it's kind of like, if you're the only girl with all these guys, can't you see what's ahead? And I remember there was one time I didn't talk game to her, and we just happened to both be up, and there was the memory wall, and so we was playing Jenga, and I was like, I'm gonna give it to her. So I told her exactly what was going on, exactly how it was shaped down, how she thinks she's with Cody, who Cody is 100% with. I felt good about it, and then I went to like just lay in the bed. It's so awful in that house. And then I got up and everybody was gone. She went and woke everybody up, took them to the HOH room, told them everything I said. And I thought for a second, and I was like, well, you know what? They are going to get me. They're going to eventually get me. But when they do, they're going to know I know exactly what's going on. So I was happy I'd done it.
I mean, that's what I was going to bring up. I mean, Donny, you were basically a target on and off the entire season. I mean, they thought you were ex-military. He's a genius. He's doing,
Harvard professor. I said the word photosynthesis. They thought I was a botanist.
And then you're pulling out, you won a good amount of competitions too.
I won 6 competitions. Yeah. See.
Yeah. So
against people half my age, there was 2 professional athletes. They all had went to college. I never went to college, but
I mean, why do you think it was that they just couldn't get you out? Like, they just were really on you. It's got to be Donny. We don't trust him. And then you got Devin coming around, obviously feeling bad about it. It was just a lot going on there.
It was a lot. It was a lot of emotions, but thank God, I had a lot of emotions, but thank God there was a lot of other people that got in their emotions too. Here, I think I was the first target, and it was because of non-game play. This guy doesn't fit in. It'll be an easy out. Let's do it. I won my little splitters veto, and then my likability kicked in. So where I was on the block, I think 8 times. I don't think half the time that I was the target. They used my likability to send someone 100% home. Hey, if you're sitting on the block on Thursday next to Donny, you're going home. So then, 2/3 of the game passes, and then that likability is in their brain. It's like, this guy is so likable. If he sits, I never thought I could win. It messes with your brain so much. All you've got to do is think, especially if you're on the block 8 times. They shun you. They don't hang out with you. So I had a lot of time to think. All right, after Nicole was gone, before she came back, I won that battle of the block in the black box. They had to get rid of their own. So they were getting rid of Zach. So for 1 second, I was like, okay, this large alliance is getting rid of someone in their own alliance. They'll break up and they'll use me as a vote. So I'm like, this is a path for me to go further. But then Nicole comes back. Boom, there goes that.
Yeah. So I know. It's there's so many things. I do want to ask just briefly about the bomb squad, because obviously very dramatic sort of storyline. I know you weren't in it, but like living it in real time, and you're watching everybody blow up and you're like, I'm just enjoying it. Like, was it that dramatic and that, I guess, in real time?
Yeah, it was like it was great TV. Devin felt so bad that he come and woke me up. He woke me up a bunch, but he woke me up one time and said, I'm having a house meeting. Please come to it. I said, no. If you're going to have a house meeting about me, I'm not. So I laid in the bed in the dark listening to it, because I was like, when you go down the hall, that open room, and don't have a door on it. So I was listening to it. And every time he would say something, I would like look at the camera, like, because he was saying things about me. And, it meant more that I wasn't there. And I kind of done that for strategy too. I figured it pulled on their heartstrings, and he cried, and Zach done what he done. So, God, it was just amazing. And see, a lot of that stuff I didn't know until I went back and watched some of it, how Zach was, but it was great. It was great.
Thing though, you did have good relationships with a lot of people, maybe one-on-one. Like Zach was in a different alliance, but you would have a relationship with him. Nicole, like you made, and like where you could, I feel like you made alliances. It just it was like never a big alliance that you had.
Yeah, Zingbot said that my social game was Suck Dynasty, Zingbot said my social game was Suck Dynasty, kind of like Duck Dynasty. But, it was not bad because I knew the likability. They all liked me. So, I knew Nicole, and Hayden would hang out in the house. The pool table, me, Hayden, Cody. Even though I knew what was going on, I was like, if I befriend him, like Cody told me he was not going to nominate me this one time that he did, because if you can read into the diary rooms, like here I am. I got up early because I went to bed early. I was sitting in there all by myself. They called me to the diary room on a Monday morning before the veto. I wasn't on the block. Someone had won the veto. They asked me, hey, Donny, do you think, are you scared you might be nominated? Because they want me to say, of course not. Cody's my friend. He'll never nominate. Then they'll cut it to where he's saying, sorry, Don, sit on the block. They love that. So when I was sitting in there Monday morning, that got me to thinking, wait a minute, they just asked me if I think. I was like, uh-oh. So I went up and talked to Cody, unlike normal. And he was like, yeah, Don, they want me to put they. So
is that when you turned the lights on him?
I could have. I think I did. It was up in the day, but I did go in on him. And I jerked at his heartstrings because I got his pictures of his family. And I was like, look, do you think? And he was like, I'm not nominated. I am not. I don't care what they say. Everything was confirming me about the larger alliance by him saying he was blaming it on they. So, but what can one person do? You can't do. There was so many recruits, like they just happened to get the Big Brother fans in the bomb squad. It left me with a bunch of recruits. So you can't go tell the Pow Pows and the Britneys and all this what's going on. Because, Brittany was on the block the first week too. And I said, can I talk to you? And she said, I don't want to talk. And I'm like, okay. I know what's going on, but what could we do? They had the majority of the house was in their alliance.
Yeah, that's the thing, Donny. You were playing. I knew this. You were picking up on the metagame of it. You're picked for Team America. That means okay, America must like me. That's information I'm getting from the outside. Why are they picking me with Frankie and Derrick? Like, did you have those conversations in your head a lot?
Oh, 100%. Even before I knew Ariana Grande's brother, me and Frankie, the first 2 or 3 weeks, we lived in the diary room. So I'm like, I'm making a lot of TV. I'm making a lot of TV, and Frankie's making a lot of TV. So I'm like, this is understandable. Derrick said we didn't know behind the scenes of the Derrick thing. So I was like, come to find out, of course, I understand completely. But while you're in the house, he wasn't getting as many diary rooms in the beginning. I was like, I didn't understand that. When we finally seen who we were, I was like, I wonder why. And then they would always say, it's us three. We're going to stay in contact. But they never contacted me.
Yeah, I know. You guys had to do that mission where you had to make up your own mission and like pick some stupid thing. And it was very obvious to you, like, okay, they're not saving me. They're not on my side. Yeah. You were hurt by that, I know. When you left,
they had some extra insight. It was like the last week I was there. It was the last day I was there about apple pie. You remember something about Julie Chen saying, because he done the little skit, and instead of saving me, they done the skit, and she said with an overwhelming no. So them two knew that America didn't like that. But of course, it's a game. It's not an America game. It's a personal game. It's no hard feelings. But they did get a little insight about that.
Yeah, I'm going back and I'm watching clips, and I think I've talked to Derrick about this even. Like, you were probably the only person, maybe Nicole a little bit too, who were on to Derrick. I think it was interesting when you see you guys sitting there together. It was a lot of silence, a lot of like, I know your game, you know mine kind of thing. Is that sort of how you felt in the moment? Because that's how I felt like watching it back.
Yeah. Like, I could actually be myself around Zach. I could actually be myself around Hayden. It was hard to be myself, even Cody, everybody. The only person I couldn't be myself was the two people that America had put me with. Frankie didn't have to talk as much. He was entertaining and, he was trying to, fill the airwaves. So there wasn't much talking to him anyway. But with Derrick, it was harder to have a sincere talk with him because I knew he was sizing me up with everything, and he was holding everything close to him, and So it was difficult, and he didn't let me know until my final week when they hemmed me up and there was no saving me. He let me know. So
yeah, I just thought it was interesting. It's like, people like to say Derrick didn't have a lot of adversity, which maybe that's true, but like I do think you gave him a little bit of a run for his money in those conversations because it was fun seeing him navigate around, like when he was talking to you.
But still, he had so much arsenal. I mean, as far as these competition, I mean, any physicality, Caleb and Cody, where I did win a lot, but I'm not dumb. They throwed a lot. You know what I'm saying? Cody and them probably threw a lot earlier on because he didn't want to look like a threat. So you say if I was on the block, did I have a good chance of 1 out of 6 winning the veto? No, probably 1 out of 3 because 3 of them was probably throwing it anyway. You see what I'm saying? So it was very fortunate that I did win the 6. It looks good, but I know I didn't physically beat all those younger people. A lot of them did not want to look like threats, and it paid off for them.
Donnie, it still counts.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Hey, the rolling dice that took Devin out, that was amazing. Like I sat there, they had some cards in front of us because it was like a casino. And me and Derrick, we were sitting stage. We took some cards and was like moving them, and they told us we couldn't do that. So I literally just sat there and stared. So there was 5 options because it was already pointed up on like 1. So from 2 to 6, I had figured out 3, 4, and 5. I had that in my head. Oh God, that's going to make good TV if I get in there with 3, 4, and 5. But the 2 times I went in there, it was 2 and 6. So I had to figure it out while I was in there.
Of course. Am I wrong? Did Christine throw the one when you were in the dark? Didn't they throw that so you couldn't win?
Yeah. I thought it was coming like that morning. They probably caught a tear coming down the cheek. They called me to the diary room. What's up, Donnie? I was like, she's going to throw it. It's going to be 1 against 3. No way I can win. They said, come on, Donnie. There's a way you could win. Come on, don't do that. They pumped me up. I went and got the broom. I started sweeping. I got thinking, maybe I can win. Maybe I can win. She told me I am not going to throw it. And then, while we was in the thick of it, it didn't, I don't think this made the TV show. We could only take 1 bone at a time. So I found a bone in the process of going back. I found another bone. So I couldn't take both of them. So as I was going, I bumped into her, and I felt that it was a girl's arm. So I grabbed her by the arm and I took her back to the last bone. And I heard production say, "You can't do that, Christine. Caleb, drop it." Oh my God, it broke my heart. It broke my heart. I was like, oh my God, it's me against 3. It's dark as a dungeon. But I only needed 1 more because that was my 4 out of 5. And so I went back, and thank God, I think they had got a wrong bone because there was 2 different size bones. And I never got a wrong bone every time I took that. So, when I beat them, I just fell to the ground. It was like, oh. And when I came out of that box to see Frankie's face, it was one. That was the week they had to get rid of one of their own.
Yep. That was, I remember that so vividly. What else? So I wanted to ask about, obviously, Derrick goes on to win, but you and DaCosta were the votes for Cody. You had, Cody put you up twice, didn't he? I'm trying to remember.
I can't. I know of one time. Oh yeah, of course. Maybe. Yeah, I went out on Cody's head of household. Yeah.
So I guess at the end, what were you? Why vote for Cody over Derrick?
Yeah. I guess. Okay. Well, I got it a lot. I got it right after I got back. I never had. I was on Twitter. You think I got bashed by somebody? They're so mean. It was all 100% praise.
Oh, good.
1 out of 10,000 would say, "Why did you vote? Why didn't you vote for Derrick? Were you bitter?" Looking back, I'll throw a little bitterness in there. But the reason I did is when I was on that stage and I had those keys in my hand, I had 2 keys in a bag and I had Cody's out. I asked the question. It was my turn to ask the question. I said, "Cody, why do you think you deserve to win over Derrick?" He gave the answer, and he said that he done all the hanging around the pool table with us got all the information, and he gave it to Derrick. So I was like, okay, he gave the information to Derrick. So Derrick was the head of the snake. So I got Derrick's key out. Julie Chan, I don't know if it went for commercial, probably did. She, hesitated a little bit. I got to thinking about that thing. I thought, this is a one-day thing, but I got to live with this the rest of my life. And I remember I got out of the pool one day on a Sunday morning, and I laid on that little bed thing in the backyard in the sun, and he came and sat beside of me, Cody did, and he would call me Don, and he would say, yes, sir. He was raised really well.
Yeah, he's a really nice guy.
Really great guy. And that day I said, you play it in stages. You don't want to be the first one to go home. You want to make it to jury. Let's not talk about that this season.
Yeah.
And then you want to make it to the end. And so I told him, if I make it to jury and you make it to the end, I will vote for you. And then let's fast forward, till I got back home. I asked my brother, do you know it? Wade hit me. I said, do you know why I voted for Cody? He said, absolutely. You told him you would. So I thought about it. I had to live with my vote. Did I know Derrick would win? Absolutely. Because I was in the jury with these people. We weren't supposed to talk about it, but look who they put in the jury, us. So we're going to sneak around and talk. Yeah. So I knew Derrick would win, but I told Cody that I'd vote for him, and I did. And and I can live with it.
That's fair. Listen,
Derrick played the best game. Derrick won. He deserved to win, and I done what I said I was going to do.
Yeah, listen, I think whoever you vote for that's just how it plays out. Like, jury management is a thing. You seem to have a relationship with Cody over Derrick. Like, there's so many factors I think people are very judgmental about, but like, you don't know until you're in that situation. So.
Yeah. And I probably didn't want to admit it right afterward. Was I bitter? But now looking back, there was probably more than one factor. I was probably a little bitter. Hey, America chose us to work together, and we didn't work together. And, I went out 8th place. People say, hey, well, what'd you come in? I like to say I was 70 days out of 97. That sounds a lot better than 8th place. If America was paying us $5,000 a pop, I think they could have kept me around a couple more. They could have got me out anytime.
It's
but
true.
I could understand their mentality. I had won those vetoes, and it's like, while we got him, while we hemmed him up, we better get him out now. And I understand that too. But I still think from the standpoint that we were getting paid money to work together. But then they went on and paid them, so they didn't lose nothing.
So when you go home and you watch the season, I'm assuming did you watch it right away, or did you wait, or like?
No, not right away, because it messes with your brain. For me, I don't know. Somebody should study it. Some Duke University should study what it does to people's brains, because I think it's probably like going to prison. It's probably like going off to war without the war stuff, just being away from your family and stuff. It really messes with your brain. Like coming back, it was. I can't even explain it. Like if someone would come bombard me with questions, I would like feel my heart beating in my head right here, and it would feel like a panic. So that's probably that PTSD or something. And then for several years, I'm such a happy guy. I would have an overwhelming like sadness about me, and I'm like, there's no reason for me to. I think there's a little bit of that, but of course now I'm completely over with it. But it really messes with you, especially people that's been on the block and shunned. You're away from your family. You sit in that house, and people don't realize, well, it's just a week. Oh my God, it's just hours and seconds and minutes. It's so long. It is so long.
Yep. That's a part of the game that's just you can never convey that on television. And I say this a million times, everyone's probably sick of hearing it, but it's like, that's why I give grace to people, because listen, it's not an easy experience, and you come out and it's like, I don't know. It's a lot.
And you don't necessarily, it might not be who real people is, because it kind of brings things out of people.
Out of you. Yeah.
Because there was a time that they had us locked in the head of household room, and I was sitting there looking at like what was going on. And I was like, is this really going on, or is my brain playing tricks on me? And I was like, this is really going on. But it was just weird. It makes people do weird things.
Yeah, and to me, it's totally normal to sort of step back. I probably wouldn't want to watch myself, and I've heard this story so many times, even with actors where they were on a show for so long and they had like this crazy experience, and then they don't want anything to do with the show anymore. They leave it. They're like, I don't want to talk about that show that made me famous. I feel like it's similar sometimes with this. It's like I want to distance myself, and then years later you come back and you appreciate it in a different way, and you can kind of like you've healed from whatever it was. But yeah, like I'm happy to hear that you're positive about it again.
Yeah,
That's
I did watch. It was probably 4 or 5 months later I started watching it, and at that point it was more like I was a character. It kind of seemed like it wasn't me. And then I think I've watched it one other time, watched it twice, and then that last time it was just a hoot. You just sit back and watch it like his normal big brother, because you see things that you didn't see before in other bedrooms and other rooms, and it's just so entertaining. Really good.
I mean, you were in there 70 days. Did you find yourself reminding yourself, I'm on TV, like I'm going to hold back a little bit? Or were you just like fully yourself? I'm always curious with people of like, I mean, some people you can tell there's no filter there, but like, did you have that filter in your brain since you were such a fan?
I would think so. Yeah. I think in the beginning, I was more reserved, knowing because I was a fan. And see,
Yes.
People always wonder, like, why do they recruit? If they didn't recruit, it wouldn't be entertaining. You take 16 true fans, they know it's a marathon, not a sprint. They'll get in there, no one to do a whole lot of talking to start with. It would be boring. You have to have those recruits that go balls to the wall, that gives you that entertainment. So I did, did I have to watch what I say? No, I was being me, but I still was, more careful, because I knew that they played telephone and tell it, like I'd like to tell Brittany, like what was going on, but I knew she would run back and tell them, and I didn't want to make myself a bigger target. So I just had to keep it to myself.
Yep. Speaking of, who from your cast, I guess, well, one, who were you closest to in the house? And then now, who do you, I guess Christina is the one you speak to the most these days?
Well, that's the one I've seen the most, but I haven't seen her.
Her.
Yeah, that's the one I've seen. I would say in the house, it was definitely Hayden. Definitely Hayden. In the jury house, it was 100% Zach, because see, Hayden had Nicole, and they spent a lot of time together. And then me and Jocasta spent a lot of time alone, and me and Zach hung out. We lifted weights and went for walks and played in the pool, and we spent all day. Like, you ready to eat some ice cream? Yeah. And it was me and Zach, and then since then, I've seen Zach maybe once at a charity event. I think I talked to him, once back then. But like I say, recently I talked to Hayden. Derrick wrote a book, and he was in Charlotte to sign it, and I snuck up on him. I just was in the crowd, and so I seen him. But that's probably been 5 or 6 years ago now. So I did see Derrick, and let's see. I don't reckon I talked to nobody else. No, I don't even see people from my cast besides like Frankie occasionally post on Twitter, and Derrick maybe for his stuff.
Yeah. So yeah, some of your cast I haven't really caught up with either. They're not like big on social media, some of them. So it makes sense. I do want to ask you about a couple of the people from your cast. They've come back, like when Nicole came back and won, and then she recently won Reindeer Games, like. Did you watch? Were you excited for her?
Yeah.
Like, what did you think?
I was very excited. Yeah. Like in the beginning, I thought, they're going to be a target for returning players. But of course, we see how it even goes this season. They're not a target, not all of them. So, I didn't think she could like win. And then she got further and further and further. And then, I was happy she won. I actually went, her mama reached out and said they were going to Las Vegas. So I went to Las Vegas. But some reason, I think her brother might have got sick at the finale in Los Angeles, so they didn't make it to Vegas. So I didn't get to see her. But then I think I've done a podcast with her since then. But I went to Vegas to congratulate Nicole for her win, but she wasn't there.
Oh, well, that's nice.
It was me, Parker, LaJuan, and Michelle from season 10. We had a big time.
Oh wow, what a little group. I like
Yeah.
it.
LeJuan is so much fun. You need to
He's a
get
nice.
him to do it.
No, I
He's a
did. You
hoot.
got to
Oh, did you?
go watch it.
Okay. Okay.
He's
Okay.
great.
Yeah.
Love Lamont.
Yeah. He,
Um,
he dressed me up like we went to some place one night, and I never wear nothing fancy. I probably had camouflage breeches or overalls, and you had to have you had to dress up to go. So I had all these bright plaid colors on. It was so
oh,
good.
I remember in your intro package, you're like, "These are my fancy jeans."
Yeah, yeah. I, I wore this to church this morning.
Yeah, why not? I mean, um, and then when you see like someone like Cody come back, and you've obviously voted for him to win, he didn't win. He comes back, he plays a very dominant game, and wins. What were your thoughts, I guess, on BB 22?
Uh, yeah, that was it. Kind of, it's a little emotional for me there because I can tell you this. They reached out to me for that season.
I'm not surprised, Donnie.
Yeah, because of COVID, I guess they couldn't do the whole normal thing, and since we were already in the system, they reached out. But my dad had cancer, and
Oh,
he did pass away. So of course, I'm glad
so
I
sorry.
didn't do it,
Of
but
course.
I couldn't do it. I was driving them to the doctors and stuff like that. But then, as you watch it, you think, "Ooh, look!" And I imagine I'm the older, goofy guy. So look who the other older guy was. He made it to second place, right?
Oh, who was it? Memphis?
Enzo.
Oh, Enzo. I'm like, wait, who's older in there? Like, again, when
He's
people say
not old by
older,
no means, but he was
yeah,
older
yeah,
than
yeah.
most of them.
No, you're
So
right though.
I was like, if it had worked out, it wouldn't have worked out like that. But I'm just saying, I'm close to Cody. Hey, who
Yep,
knows?
yep. No, it's got to be. I talked to a bunch of people about this who were like in the casting, and I asked them if they watched the season because some people, if they get dropped from casting or something happens, they don't want to. They're just like, I don't want to see how it plays out. Were you eager to watch it, or were you like, eh?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean,
No, for that I was very eager. Yeah, I
okay.
was very eager. And when I was in the jury house, they was going to do the Amazing Race a couple seasons, season 26. They reached out. I had to go in the closet and talk on the phone, and they wanted me and my girlfriend Christine to do that couple season. It didn't work out. She knew I wasn't getting my job back. She worked for Cabarrus County Schools too. She didn't want to lose her job. She had a son, so she declined it. So of course, I watched that season with a fine tooth comb, like, oh, I could have went there, I could have done this. So I definitely watched season 22 even more so because I was like, what if I would have been there? Could I have done good at this? I
Yeah.
do pretty good with alumni people. They usually like me anyway. Maybe they could have used me thinking I was decent in competitions. Maybe they would have used me thinking I have a little insight in things. So, maybe I wouldn't have been the first person out.
No, I don't think so, Donnie. I don't
I
think
had two
so.
people from my season, two
Yeah,
winners.
I think you might have been okay.
There's been three winners from my season. They can talk junk about season 16 all they want to, but there's been three winners. A winner of the challenge with Amber.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
Too
true.
too bad.
And you had a great relationship with Amber, didn't you? Too in there, if I recall.
Absolutely. She reminded me of back home because she was from Tennessee and she had that cute little Southern accent. So, we had a lot in common. She would cook and I liked to eat. She would clean. I don't know why they voted her out. Boy, that shower was so nasty after they voted Amber out because she was such a
Oh,
good cleaner.
that's why I couldn't play Big Brother is because of the shower and the kitchen and the bathroom.
And the
No.
beds, you get up from a bed later on in the day, someone's napping in your bed. It's like, what
Yeah.
in the world is going on?
No.
My
No outside clothes in my bed. I don't want any of that. Oh
It,
gosh.
it's 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 really weird. It's difficult. Everybody wants to do it, and of course they would make people are very resilient. They would make it, but they don't realize what toll it takes and for what price you pay.
So when you're watching like these seasons after and someone's doing something stupid or getting, hate on Twitter, like do you empathize with the people in there more?
Yeah, a little bit, but I do want great TV, even if it's at their expense. I want great TV, and see, I I I, I know they're recruited. They have no idea. A lot of them probably don't even know, the you know there is cameras in the house that we see. There's a zzz. That's pretty much, that's pretty much for production to keep up with us. That's not the angle you see on TV because you'd see that dirty floor. The TV, you're getting those through the mirrors right there. You're getting that right there. So, these people that aren't fans don't even know, what's going up about live feeds. They
That's
probably think, well, I'm in here by myself. Of course I can change clothes. It ain't going to be on me by myself. And it may be on them by themselves.
Yeah. So many people fall for there's no cameras in the HOH room or what.
Yeah. Oh, there's none in the shower. Oh, I'll just go and change in the shower. Yeah, there's cameras in the shower. There is cameras in the bathroom. But we know now that they don't look at them all the time because Victoria passed out in the bathroom.
Yep.
And they didn't know it. We got to say, I'm like, where's Victoria?
No. That was scary.
Yeah, she was cutting jaw teeth, I guess. She was dehydrated or something. We toted her to the diver room. She was gone for a while.
I forgot about that. Also, didn't Jocasta fall ill too? And then you won the veto?
It was so hot. I mean, it's hot here in North Carolina, but out there, it is humid here. But out there, it can get during the day like 100. And then you don't get that breeze because the big walls. So in the backyard, you got this reflected from this AstroTurf. You not get, it's so hot. Then you have these harnesses on you and you're exerting. It's a lot. Because the ball one, the live episode where I won the veto by jumping in the balls, getting the ducks, I fell out. I was throwing the balls out of the pit because I thought the more balls I throw out, the less I'll have to go through. But then my dumbo self, when I jumped out, I twisted my ankle on a ball. So at the very end,
that's why they were carrying you.
Yeah, it was so difficult to breathe when you got your heart beating because it's just so hot. And then, what do we do all week? We sit around and do nothing, and then we have to do these physical competitions. So it's a lot. Yeah. So Jocasta did fall out. It was because she was pulled up with a harness by Caleb, and he was probably just jerking her around. She dehydrated.
So many moments from your season.
But that was great TV. See, I won the veto then later on, and I saved her. And I knew, I was like, I put it around her neck. She started crying, and I was like, bing, great TV. Of course, they like fights. They like crying.
Yeah, you were basically like speaking as a fan in there for us. Like, wow, this is great. Look at this drama. And I'm like cracking up over here because I'm like, Donny gets it. He knows good TV.
You can read into a lot. These recruits can't read into it. But like the first 2 weeks, if you're freezing in the diary room, you're making TV.
Wait, what do you mean?
Because you're narrating something. You're in the diary narrating something. Right. So if you're in, there was people from my season that never went to the diary room. The first couple of weeks, you never seen Christine in the diary room. You never seen Victoria unless she had to take medicine. So you was knowing who was making the TV show and who wasn't making the TV show.
Was that talked about, or were you just processing that yourself?
You're not allowed to talk about production.
Do you think anyone else picked up on it?
Derrick did. Derrick did. Frankie did. Christine, Nicole, all the people that were fans of the show did. But I bet the Devons and the Pow Pows and the others had no clue. Donny's in the diary room. Well, I'm glad he's in there. But I knew I was making TV because I was living in there. I would go for 4 hours at a time.
Wow. And were you reading into their questions? Because I would be reading into everything.
Yeah, absolutely. It's especially that one where that Monday morning they asked me if I was afraid that Cody would nominate me, and I was like, "Of course not. He's my friend. He ain't going to nominate me. Why would he nominate me?" And then I could just picture it. They're going to cut right there where I said, "He's my friend," and then take a seat, Don, and that's exactly what they did.
Yep. Damn, I would be reading into all of that.
But there's nothing you can know all you can. It still doesn't help you. You can go in there with the template and it won't help you because you can't tell anybody because they'll run and tell on you.
Yeah, especially in your position, I would have not said anything either.
You couldn't. You
were already. Well, Donny, listen. I don't know if it's still the record, but most votes for an America's Favorite Player ever at that point. I think it was 5 million.
I don't think so, but of course now it's different. You know, I can vote. I can vote your name. You know, you can. I voted for people with Julie Chen before, so you can just make up an email and vote now. So
Oh, see, I didn't even know
you
that
can't
because I
figure it
never
out with
vote.
oranges. Yeah, I vote. I vote legitimately, and then I started voting. I started putting other people's email. When I worked at the college, I was putting all the people in the directory's email, voting for people. And then I was like, wait a minute, I'll start making up stuff. And it took it. So everybody knows that. So there's no way it could be fair now because you can vote 10 times and you can vote with each day. You can vote 10 times with one legitimate email. So now you can make up emails.
Why do they do that? I don't know why you need to vote 10 times. Like, just make it one. I don't know. I think they like that big number.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Where now you used to watch TV shows and they said the Nielsen ratings was this. Now they say in WrestleMania, the total engagements. So they like the little likes on Twitter and the likes.
Yep.
They count it all. And they basically have to because who watches antenna TV anymore?
Exactly. But when you won, like, you know, you're on the stage, were you thinking, oh, I might have a shot at this?
In the jury house, me and Zach was saying, I figured one of them was got to be Zach. I was like, yeah, it's going to be Zach. And then I got to think, well, it's going to be Frankie and Zach. And then it's like, oh, Nicole was so likable too. So it was a throw up between us. And I thought we done thought we would be like second because Frankie, you know, they all knew who Ariana Grande was. And at the time, I didn't. You know, I woke up one morning because I slept early. He had told everybody. And he said, Donny, I want to let you know my sister's Ariana Grande. And I said, I'm sure you love your sister because I love my sisters, but I don't know who she is. But I soon found out.
But that's not a bad assumption, right? Like, okay, famous, has a huge fan base, probably gonna.
And he was very entertaining and he was very good. In my mind, and I take competitions in entertainment purposes because I love to watch the show. Of course, Derrick played the best game and Derrick deserved the win. But Frankie was one of the best competitors because he had the brain, the body, the ability. He won a lot of competitions. And I bet in the beginning he was throwing a lot.
Yeah, that's a good point. I haven't gone back and watched it, but you're right. They were probably throwing some competitions. I'm sure. I know
because you want to make your threat level very low. Even on this season right now, you know, so many, you know, Keanu is winning a lot, but you know, those one competitions, it's their lives on the line. And it's against two other people. You know what? You know, a lot of people are throwing. They'll go to the diary and say, well, "I don't want it." You know, they don't.
Yeah.
So you can't be big headed saying, you know, I beat them all, but I didn't beat them, but a lot of them probably threw it.
I still think it counts because it's a competition win.
Oh,
so
it counts. Yeah. I said myself, hey, if it wasn't for splitters, me and you wouldn't be doing this right now. I would have been the first out. They wouldn't have known who Donny was.
Oh. But yeah, so coming home, winning America's, you know, favorite, like, did that feel nice? Were you, because you're a fan, did it matter to you, I guess?
Yeah, I liked it. It was very flattering. It was you know, these people that do these pre-interviews, and of course, people hate that when they say, had you rather win and be hated or lose and be loved? I knew I was going to work for a living, you know, $500,000, a single man, they're going to tax it. What's $320,000 going to do at 42 years old? I would rather be loved and lose the game. And I know that's horrible, but I got what I asked for. I was loved, and you know, life is good.
I think it makes sense for certain players to answer that way personally. But I will say I'm very upset that I have not seen you on another competition show, Donny. And I know you mentioned Big Brother 22, and people are probably wondering is like, yeah, have you had interest in doing another show or Big Brother?
I really would like earlier on, you know, when I was 42 and I got back, I was messed up in the head. And then that whole Amazing Race thing didn't work out. I was thinking like, oh, I'd love a second chance at Big Brother. They're really dropping the ball. CBS could be making some bank with these shows like Big Brother OTT. Now they do the engagement thing. They should do an online thing. Since they throw that little TV show on Friday night, we know they ain't scared to do a little something. They should do reindeer games. They should do freaking Easter bunny games. The house is sitting there. People are craving to see alumni. And I know they hate a lot of people, but people like to hate people. If you put some bad guys in there with some good guys, they love it. That's why MTV for years, I know we don't have a lot of time, but I started liking, I moved out when I was 21 years old. I got Cablevision for the first time in my life in 1992. I got MTV. Back when they had so I caught the second season of The Real World. It was fascinating. It was more fascinating to me than these live feeds are for people. I was watching these people fight on the weekends. They were showing marathons. I was watching the same episodes over and over and over again. MTV took these real worlders and road rulers and they made the challenge, and it's still going right now. Why don't CBS do something like that? Why don't they take the Survivor, the Amazing Race, the Big Brother alumni, have some type of competition? It don't even have to be the challenge. It could be the reindeer game. They could have a OTTs type season at Christmas time or in January and put only Survivor people in it for one season. The Big Brother fans would love it. You know how many women you can get if you do a 21 or 28 day season? You could get a lot. People cannot leave family, kids. Men can't leave responsibilities. They would get quality players if they done something like this.
You're preaching to the choir. I completely agree. And I think what happens is, they're like, they don't take advantage of all this talent they've built over the years. And then, Peacock or Netflix is swooping in and then they're all upset about it. And I'm like, guys, it's been here all along. You could have done something. Right. They get a little salty, it seems like, when people go on other shows. It's like, no, you can't have it both ways. You can't knock it.
If you don't use them, you lose them. If you don't use them, you lose them.
Exactly.
So, yeah. I could definitely, like in the wintertime, I could definitely do a 21 to 28 day season. Absolutely. A lot of women with kids could, leave probably for a 21 day thing. They should think about something like that. They could get good quality players and they could get some Survivor people. They would love to see, everybody says, which is the hardest. All of them Survivor people, of course, they're saying theirs is the hardest. Throw them in there and let them see. Sari done told the truth.
Yep. It's no joke. It's psychologically crazy.
Yeah. I couldn't do Survivor. I can't swim.
Oh, really?
I'd drown. Yeah.
You can get some swimming lessons now.
I don't know. I went this long. I did take swimming lessons one time, and I've never drowned it, but I've never been like fighting in the water and jumping in. I don't know. I just couldn't. I do like it. I used to like Survivor better than Big Brother because I started watching. It came on first in the year 2000. I've watched a lot of reality shows. I still think they should reboot The Real World.
I know. Yeah. They did, and then it got canceled again.
Yeah, it started going online and stuff like that. But I think, they cram ridiculous now in everybody's throat when they should do a reality show like that, because I like them housewives. I just love to see them fight. The New York ladies, they need to bring the old school New York ladies back. I want to see some drunk Dorinda on my TV screen.
Yes. Well, speaking of Dorinda, I'm assuming you watched Traitors, didn't you?
Oh, I watched every English speaking one. I watch Australia, New Zealand, Canada, UK, and I think there's going to be one at the end of this month. I think it's Ireland. It's going to be English speaking, so we're going to watch it.
Yep. I'm very excited.
Australia, UK is very good.
The UK is the best one.
New Zealand's good too. It's very simple. It's like season 10 of Big Brother. It's back to the basics. Yeah, Canada's pretty good. I like the host on the Canada version, but I do like the Traitors. Great. I would love to do the Traitors because I don't know how long it's taped, but it couldn't be more than 2 weeks.
Yeah, so it's 2 weeks
long. And then you go to Scotland, you see that pretty castle, and that would be so fun. I would be a terrible traitor. It's hard to lie, but I would love to be a good old faithful in there. That would be so fun.
Donnie, I would love this for you. I think we should
Yeah.
make this happen. I think that
I,
could be
I,
fun.
like you said, I got so many votes to not never be on another TV show. It's kind of
Exactly.
weird.
It's actually wild. You have America telling you these are the best players. These we voted for them, and it's like, what do you do with them? Nothing.
Yeah. But I
It's
probably could
very
never live up to that again. You always heard, I was so light that I'd probably stick my foot in my mouth if I ever done anything again. So should just ride off into the sunset.
see. I'm of the belief that like you really I don't change a person's legacy of Big Brother with their other shows. So like Dan not doing as well on the Traitors, it doesn't change what I thought about his
Yeah,
Big Brother game for me.
yeah,
But I know other
yeah,
people.
yeah. I like the template of the Traitors. I enjoy it. I do. I like the way they it's so cookie cutter how they do their little competitions, how they do the little round table, how they do it's they're very wise about that. They can
Mm,
just do that forever, and then they throw people from other shows to get their fan base. They're geniuses, and CBS needs to take advantage of all these
agree.
Survivor people. I mean, they're really throwing some Survivor people, but they got a bigger pool than what they show
That's
us.
true. Would you do reindeer games?
Of course, expect like in the wintertime, I mow my grass, I mow my brother's grass, I mow my mama's. Summertime, it's a little hectic, but like reindeer games is in the winter. It's only, I don't know how long it was. It couldn't have been more than a couple weeks, 3 weeks at the most. Of course, I could do reindeer games.
All right, I'm feeling we're gonna see Donnie on TV in the next year or two. I know it's gonna happen. I
Well,
really
I
want
hope
it to
so.
happen.
I've been working.
Um,
I've been working. I walk 10,000 steps a day. I don't do any crazy weightlifting because I'm 53. I don't want to throw something out. Do my push-ups. But I walk 10,000 steps. I weigh 160 pounds with my clothes on and my shoes on. And when I retired, I weighed 183. So I am staying in shape. I've been
love
thinking about
that.
getting rid of this ugly old gray beard, but
I think it looks good, Donnie. I think you look good with
looks
gray.
like a
Some people,
skunk. There's this dark spot. Looks like a skunk.
yeah, yeah, but it's character. I don't know.
Yeah, I reckon. I reckon. I see it every day, and it's all. If I let it grow long, it sticks up and sticks in my nose and stuff. So I don't know. We'll see. Maybe
Um,
somebody will call one day.
they will. Oh, please. Um, but wait, I have a couple more questions. One is looking back, do you ever play the what if game? Like, are you someone that's like, oh, I wish I did this? Or are you happy with how you played your Big Brother game? I guess.
I'm pretty happy. There was if it still played out the same, I would have went home first if it wasn't for splitters. I would have went home. Uh, so it was meant to be the way it was. My likability kicked in. They used it to send other people home. My likability kicked me out. My
Yep.
likability got me America's favorite. So I couldn't say I would change anything. There was nothing. Even looking back, I really didn't learn anything that would help me. I knew a
Right.
lot anyway, but there's nothing you can do. Even if you know everything, there's nothing you can do. And then,
That's
like
a great point.
when I first got into the diary room, it's this black room. It has a camera, just black, and it has this microphone. It was so weird. It's weird for me to have these in my ears because this is not normal for me in life. So it was very weird. That day 50 roll around, you wanted to be called to the diary room because these people that you were talking to wasn't after you. They wasn't shunning you. Uh, that it was so refreshing to be around people that wasn't judging you or not. Oh, it was like therapy to get called to the uh, day 5. You would think of your family and it would make you cry. Just sitting there thinking of your family, you'd just start crying. Day 30, you never thought about them no more. You'd have to make yourself think of like your family because you're running scenarios. You're thinking it is a weird, weird game. There's a lot of seconds in a minute. There's a lot of minutes in an hour and a lot of hours in it. It was long. People just don't. Those people that endure the live feeds, God bless their souls. But to be there alone in the backyard, it was. It was. I'd rather be alone than with some of those people at the time. But it was hard. It was really hard.
Did you, when you did watch the season back, like you said, I feel like you pretty much always had a pulse on what was going on, but was there anything that did surprise you when you watched the show?
No, even like, people seem to think, like, if Derrick had went in and said I was a police officer, I don't think it'd be a big deal. Now the way the shows are now, people might say, let's get him because he's a cop because of the way the world is. But, I don't know why that would have been a big deal of hiding that you're a cop, no more than if you're a lawyer or a college professor or anything else. By learning he was a cop, it didn't make, I didn't think it was no big deal. Maybe if he's a detective, we might think, well, but still, it was no big deal. You don't get to bring your guns and stuff. You just come in with the same bag that everybody else have. I don't think it was an advantage.
I'm sure there's cops that aren't that smart too. So
yeah. What he had in his head was the big advantage. But as far as being a cop, I don't see how it was. So nothing shocked me, So.
What do you? Speaking of, you're watching this season. A lot of people, I think it doesn't even. Again, it doesn't even matter. But so many people were like gonna lie about their jobs, and I'm like, why?
Yeah, but like I say, for like the targets in the beginning, any little thing could make that target. Like I knew that me being older, not having stuff in common, like if all these people talk about college things, they talk about the same music, they're outsiders. If there's someone on the other side of the house, don't want to rock the boat with them people because they're fitting in with them. So if we vote them out, we might make enemies. Me being the older lone person, what kind of enemies was it going to make? It was an easy first vote, and I don't blame them. I knew it was going to be. I knew I would go in there and be, if I was the oldest, that I would be the first target, but I knew it wasn't like game related. But until I watched it and they said, Donny ain't got no hairs on his leg. Oh, Caleb was in the Army. He's like, he was in the military, probably special forces. Now that was some hilarious stuff.
That was hilarious. So good.
So it was amazing. It was amazing. The things Donny, that we endure.
Thank you for doing this. It's just been like really fun sort of reminiscing. And I'm curious, I guess my last question is just like, like overall, when you think about Big Brother, is this something that brings joy to you? There's like a hint of like pain or I guess, what do you think and feel about your experience overall?
Yeah. It's a positive experience. Even though all those minutes and seconds felt negative at some time, it was so positive. I'm so glad I've done it. The experience I've had with those people, everybody, the first out Joey. I mean, if I would see him right now, we're not huggers. Our family don't hug. We don't, there is some emotion that's with these people that I'll carry till I die. Derrick, Frankie, what can you actually say? They're busy with their lives. You couldn't text them to let them know how much they mean to you. So you don't call them, you don't text them. But it is amazing how you have this attachment to these people that you only spent 2 weeks with, 3 weeks with. Seeing Devin on your podcast, oh my goodness, it was so good. It was like seeing it was more than seeing a cousin. It was like seeing a brother. It was amazing. So I hope you can do a lot more with people from season 16 because I would love to see Christine's. I'd like to know her headspace of how she thought she was going to infiltrate those guys toward the end. I would love to know. But, you're buying time. If you think, well, if I make it here, I'll make it there and there. So I understand that. But I'd love to hear her mindset.
Yep. Girl's got to text me back. She agreed to do it. She's like, I'll definitely do it. But, I think she has a kid now. She has a lot going on, but we'll figure it out.
Of course.
But thank you so much for watching. Also, that's really nice that you said that because that interview meant a lot too because I know he was like very nervous about it and opened up with a lot of the stuff that he was going on, in the house.
He was the biggest person I'd ever seen physically in my life. Like when we wasn't supposed to talk to each other. And so that morning of, you know, they tell us not to look, not to talk. So they opened these doors, and I walked out into this hallway, and there was Frankie. So I looked away. You know, I didn't have to, but I looked away. We walked down through the outside compound. There was workers working. People were saying, Duck Dynasty, I'm pulling for you, Duck Dynasty. And then we get to the outside of the house, and I see Devin ride up. I thought he was security. He was massive. And then I seen him grab the little bag, and I'm like, uh-oh. Who in the world will vote him out? He's so intimidating. He was a big guy. It was every little experience, every little, like meeting those people, all those great characters, seeing them on stage, seeing Julie Chen. It is just amazing. You watch her in this series in real life. You know how people like you freak out and all that, because I was freaking out when I seen Julie Chen.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I love you, Donny, because you're a fan too. Like, you're on the show, America's favorite, but you're also a fan at heart, which is, I love that. But yeah, thank you again. You took so much time and you didn't have to do that, so I really appreciate you.